So I'm super excited this morning because we're taking Whiskey and his little brother Junior over to Andrea's for a lesson. Right, Kathy? Come video. And Kathy is gonna ride her horse Kitty, who is at Andrew's right now. Woo woo! Yay! Let's go! We made it. I think they were good boys. Good Junior. Junior's doing so well. This is actually his first time even tied to the trailer. He's being a good boy.
Yes, but see, she's speeding up. She should be speeding up. She should be lifting her shoulder so the fact that she's speeding up, she's a little more hand.
To be gone and digested.
So you changed directions before you changed leads, which is fine. She still did it. You get out. But that might be part of what's going on here. Make sure you change leads and then change directions. Little boy. Get out of the way. If you're straight from the two fences, you can make a little bit of an angle between them to stay up into your lead. So your line doesn't have to be perfectly straight.
June, lay down.
That's better.
Good girl.
Apples into that corner. Good. Now, point her straight down the fence. Cluck to her. Sit back. Relax your feet and thighs. Cluck to her. There.
Okay, so here's the takeaway from today now that we're home. First, I was really pleased with how Junior did. He was left tied in the arena for probably 2 hours while we all rode. And there was multiple horses that were coming up and like loping alongside next to him, which here at home he's been a little unsure about when Whizkey and I are working in the arena by him, and so he had to kind of get over that, which he did. Eventually he stood there and cocked a foot and relaxed a little bit, but there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot more than I was expecting for a Monday, which was really good. Multiple people coming in, lots of different horses he doesn't know, kids, the ATV, another kid playing basketball right in front of him, so that was all really good. The other thing that I was really excited about for today, I was kind of treating it like a progress report, like a finals test for Whizkey, because I wanted Andrea to just straight away get on him and see if she was feeling some of the same things that I'm feeling, but without me prefacing that to her, so she didn't have like a bias or an awareness of it, you know, starting out. And she actually pointed out some of the same things that I've noticed, so I was going to list them off here for my own reference and to get it into my head. One of the things that I've been complaining about internally is his shoulders not lifting, and also his left shoulder feeling like it's always going down, no matter which direction we're going. I was like fixated on these shoulders. And she was saying what she's noticing the shoulders, but she thinks it's come from a lack of the drive in his back end. So my takeaway for that is I need to take a little bit of the focus away from working the shoulders all the time and make sure we're really driving the hip. And something I struggle with that is not knowing if it's a training issue for him or if it's like a soreness, because we know we have the bone spur in his hocks. And something that was really valuable that she said to me was, if I'm doing everything that I can to ensure healthy hocks for him, he's getting the injections, he's getting Adequan, and I'm mindful of my warm-ups and things like that, then really it's not bad for me to push him a little bit more. So as long as I know that I'm taking care of him medically, then he should be strong enough, he should be fine to actually push. And she wasn't really feeling it as like a training issue, but more like learned behavior, like, oh, at one point my hocks were hurting, and then you backed off a little bit, and now, yeah, so a lot of the hip issues are kind of a combination of what I've allowed him to do out of worry, out of actually being a little bit sore, things like that. So now I need to focus a little bit less on the shoulders necessarily, like particularly, and a little bit more on let's get the drive, and that will inherently help some of the shoulders. So that was something really valuable. She also worked on him with the lead change and his sticky direction, and again, that kind of came from the lack of the hip. So I need to focus a little bit more on some of my hip control and less on like put your shoulder here or put your shoulder there. So I'll focus on that, which is something that's good, that I can work on that easily here at home in my arena in the wintertime, and it's not something I have to be like running down and stopping all the time to practice. The other fun thing was that she had me get on her finished cow horse, Nikki. Nikki, I think, is 18, and she also had me go in Ramels, which I'm not very confident in Ramels, but it was really good. It was awesome. I worked on changing leads with her, which really solidified some other things to continue doing with Whizkey, one of which I'll mention here. With her, she was saying, Andrea said, to push her laterally over to help get the shoulder for the new lead up. And the moment that I felt, okay, I captured the shoulder, was when I would say, okay, let's change leads now. And instead, she was saying I should, that's not bad, but to kind of see it all the way through would be more feel the shoulder, get some actual lateral steps, like a leg yield away, and then change. So that's something I'm going to try the next couple times on Whizkey, and maybe that's been something I haven't been schooling enough through with him for the lead change. Now, another thing that she did, of course, was run and stop. And she kind of felt what he was doing, where I always say, yeah, he's running, he's lifted, he's good in the front end, and then why aren't we stopping? When he totally did that. And she was saying, a little bit less, again, of fighting that shoulder and more get the hip. And when she would run him in a straight line, she would try and push his hip into the direction of the lead and not allow the shoulder to bulge out the other way. And that was a really sticky spot for him, again, with the hip control. So once she finally established the hip, she went back and continued working the stops, and she got a couple really cool ones on him. So the takeaway for that, as well, like she said, don't be afraid to abort the maneuver, abort the mission. If I'm in my head going, I'm going to work perimeters and I want to work on stops, instead, if I notice, okay, we have an issue with our hip here, that I can get away from it in my mind of working stops, go work, fix this little spot, tie that back into what we were doing. Junior's itchy. So that was an awesome takeaway. I also got to work Nikki at the rundown and the stop, which was really fun. Once I kind of figured out her buttons a little bit, and Andrea, of course, said, you know, make sure she's straight and keep her going in the direction of the lead. Did a couple nice little stops, and then she says, well, go do it faster now. So kicked her up, and that was one thing I really wanted to equate over to Whizkey was once I got Nikki running and her shoulder was up, then instead of keeping my leg on and saying, keep going with my leg, to take my leg off more and just expect her to go and use my cluck to keep going. And once we did that and had the speed incorporated, we had a freaking monster stop, and it was awesome and really cool. And I could really feel that position that my body has to be in to get a good stop. And one of the last things I asked her to do was to do a spin. She goes, well, I don't need to work on a spin. That's you have no problem doing a spin with him. But I kept feeling like my setup wasn't quite perfect. It was kind of apparently over analyzing it because Andrea just kind of got his hip right there and turned, and she just immediately went into this monster fast spin, and Wiz was right there with her, and it was really cool. And she's like, yeah, I don't have anything to say about the spin. The spin is good. So all in all, there's probably a couple things that I'm kind of forgetting in my head here, but it was very informative. It was effective. It was exactly what I wanted to get out of today, to know that some things I'm being a little too obsessive about. Other things I'm forgetting about, like the hip, and focusing on the hip before the shoulder. And it was really good that she got on him. You know, he passed the test. She said that he was, you know, he's where he needs to be. I've done a good job with him, all of that. So that was awesome to hear, and just to know that she got on and she put him through his paces, and there wasn't really anything she had to like get on him about or say like, you know, you're totally missing this whole piece. So that was really cool. That was what I wanted to hear. I got what I needed out of it, and then I got to ride this really awesome finish trainer as well. And Junior got to go and be in the trailer and be tied up and all of that. So it was really great.